Red-Haired Shanks is a world noble, and this changes everything we know about him. The idea of Shanks having royal lineage has been a theory floated around the One Piece community for a long time now, and with the release of One Piece chapter 1086, we finally have confirmation that Shanks is in fact a man of high stature. The clues have been right in front of us from the beginning. Something about Shanks has always been off. That's not a slight on his character. Shanks by all accounts seems to be a stand-up guy, but for one of the most feared pirates in the One Piece world, he's always universally respected by both pirate and marine alike. I like to think back to the Paramount War, an enormous battle, one that would go on and reshape the One Piece world as we know it. This battle was being waged between the Whitebeard pirates and the Marines, and yet during the biggest battle the series had ever seen up to this point, one man was able to arrive at that battlefield and immediately halt the war. That man was Red-Haired Shanks. Everyone ceased action, even Mihawk, a man considered to be a rival of the Red-Haired Emperor, realized there was no point in trying to do battle with him and his boys. It's as if every man and woman at Marineford seen a god descend from the heavens, but little did we know. With the introduction of Saint Figurlin Garling in One Piece chapter 1086, it's quite apparent now that Shanks has connections in very high places. But we knew this. You have to be someone of great importance to request an audience with the 5 elders and be swiftly granted it. I kind of knew from that moment onwards that Shanks had to be in cahoots with the world government in some form or another. The question was always how. Then we learned of the God Valley incident, which we know took place 38 years ago in the current story, making Shanks 1 year old at the time of that event. The One Piece 4 billion booklet and the film Red movie that it was released alongside confirmed 2 major things. Shanks was indeed found near God Valley as a baby, and his family's name is Figurlin. But this is no ordinary family name. It is the family name of the supreme commander of the God's Knights and the former king of God Valley, Saint Garling. There is some connection here between Shanks and Saint Garling, but regardless, Red-Haired Shanks is a celestial dragon, or a former celestial dragon. I think this is the opposite of what happened to Doflamingo. Dofi was raised and born into the lifestyle of a world noble before having it all taken away from him. He knew what it was like to live among loyalty. He's a fallen celestial who used his status and family lineage to bend the world to his will for making him suffer. Doflamingo is what happens when a rich kid doesn't get his family's inheritance. Shanks is definitely on the far opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to this. He had no concept or idea of what it was like living among world nobles, as he was raised by a group of pirates, and not just any group of pirates, the Roger Pirates. Shanks may have the blood of a world noble, but his morals and overall way of life is 100% pirate. We have zero reason to assume that Shanks is evil or inherently antagonistic because of his blood ties. I mean, oftentimes when we do see the man on screen, Oda has gone out of his way to portray him as a morally righteous person. Yusa's kid pulled up to Shanks' territory, Elbaf, looking for smoke, and Shanks gave that idiot every possible opportunity to turn tail. And the only reason he obliterated the kid pirates the way he did is because he's seen a bad future. A future where his entire fleet of weaklings would be devastated by kids damn punk. Shanks apparently has the weakest fleet of all of the 4 emperors. Why would someone like Shanks surround himself with weaklings? Well, to protect them, rather than use his influence and power to oppress the weak like we've seen other emperors in One Piece do. Kaido, I'm looking at you. Shanks is choosing to provide an umbrella to those who desperately need it. As a pirate, this is a level of benevolence that we don't really see too often from characters that aren't the Stride Pirates, and I really do like the juxtaposition of Shanks being a decent human being compared to the other world nobles. Literally, there is maybe 3 world nobles besides Shanks that we've seen in One Piece that aren't complete scumbags. Guard, who had a change of heart, Homing, but he was a bit of an idiot, and Don Quixote Rocinante. So yeah, they're pretty bad people more often than not. Even that is an understatement. The newly introduced Saint Garling appears to be no exception to the rule. The fact there's someone in this series to condemn even world nobles is pretty nuts. That's a role I thought would be reserved for someone like Emu or maybe the elders, you know, the king of the world, the top brass of the top brass. Garling sentencing Guard to death does bring about 2 points that I want to touch on. For one, if this guy has this level of power, what else can he do? Assuming the God's Knights work closely with Emu, I guess this role does make sense. I think this is a case of Garling and the other of the God's Knights basically doing the dirty work of Emu, the really dirty work, as Emu themselves, they're preoccupied with other manners, such as making sure any revolutions are snuffed out and destroying entire islands that are rebelling. And second, Garling says something that I think is interesting, not because of the line itself, as it's pretty in line with how the world nobles view humans, but because of its ties to a certain red-haired character. Stand up for subhuman scum and you sink even lower. It is clear as day that Saint Garling and Shanks have vastly opposing stances in their beliefs. While Shanks is known for having a fleet of weaklings with whom he protects under his banner, Saint Garling is executed a man of status similar to his own for helping the fishmen. It makes me wonder just how closely related Saint Garling and Shanks actually are. Personally, I'm leaning towards Garling either being the direct father of Red-Hair Shanks or possibly his grandfather. If it's indeed the former, then that opens up a lot of potential characterization for both Shanks and Saint Garling as well. Like any other disappointed father who is sickened by the notion of his son walking a path different from his own, he condemns his own blood for his choice of helping the weak. Because God forbid those with power and influence use that for selfless and positive means, right? Taking into account Shanks' lineage and whatnot, he's basically the bridge between world nobles and pirates, which is why he plays the role of peacekeeper throughout the series. He was the one who went to Whitebeard and told him, hey look, you need to stop Ace and you can't go after Blackbeard either. Shanks also stresses that the timing wasn't right and no one will be able to stop the new era from spiraling out of control. The same new era that Shanks gave up his arm for, as if he knew something big was coming and soon. These efforts to halt the inevitable proved to be for naught, as the confrontation between Ace and Blackbeard ended up boiling over into what we call the War of the Best. Shanks stopped Kaido from even making it to Marineford before he himself arrived to shut down the party. In Wano, Shanks was on his way to intercept Blackbeard, anticipating that Teach would show up at the most critical and worst possible moment, as he tends to. Shanks is trying to stop something, or rather, he knows something is coming. Somehow, Shanks knows when the dawn is coming. That's why he went after the Nika fruit, and that's why he's declared now the time to go after the One Piece. Maybe Luffy's fruit was always due to awaken at this specific time, and when it happened, it was an indicator that the dawn was near. I truly believe all this time Shanks has been stalling and preparing the world for Joy Boy's arrival. I have a feeling that the conversation that Shanks had with the 5 elders went a little something like this. So, that certain pirate I wanted to talk to y'all about, it's Luffy. And look, before you get too ahead of yourselves, I am not here to snitch on my boy, but I am here to warn you. I'm warning you that Joy Boy is coming back soon. And when he does, you guys, you are f***ed. You guys are cooked and you know it. You know that the dawn is coming and there's absolutely nothing you guys can do to stop that. That is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do for me. Make sure you smash that like button. If you're new here, man, welcome to the kingdom. You make sure you subscribe. You guys be easy, and I'll catch you later, man.